I always say when we start a new phase of a project that we're going to learn how to do something today. This was probably the most successful learn how to do something day we've had. How nice is it to have a breeze?
Yes. I'm really excited now because I can start to kind of see how it's going to turn into our home, and I can imagine myself working at our standing desk and having a beautiful view behind us.
So fingers crossed the next 5 windows go in as smooth as these.
Winter was fast approaching, and we had to get our winter workshop set up as soon as possible.
It was sunny when we first started to put up the tent, but it was clear that a big storm was coming, and the race to pitch the tent was on. This tent was really pretty easy to put together. It just needed a few hands and will provide us the opportunity to keep working on projects throughout the winter, which we couldn't do last year. Just in time. It's waterproof. That's nice.
It is.
Well, Mella, I got a surprise for the winter. We're going to live in here. This is the official doghouse.
We're moving in. It's gonna be our little workshop for the winter, so we gotta get all our bus stuff into there. So let's go do it. It's like going down memory lane. Recognize this, or flip it around, or this.
I didn't think we'd be in the toilet so quick.
Mostly things we tore out of the bus that we're keeping in case we could use, and then stuff we bought and or have that we're going to use in the bus when we live in it and travel in it, that we're just kind of storing in bins right now. Next up, we've got to figure out how to get all of our supplies, like our wood and our ceiling panels, into that workshop, out of the garage, so that his parents can use it in the winter. Well, that's it for tonight. Got quite a bit of stuff in there. I think it's gonna work out pretty good. Good night. I find it very admirable that Don is not afraid of learning new things. He's not scared of failing, and he doesn't give up. But as his wife, this can be challenging.
And in this particular case, I was challenging Mella's patience by just how long it was taking me to complete our window frames. Coming up on close to 4 weeks of welding our window frames for our bus, I was still having issues and delays.
Hi. How we doing?
Okay, got one done.
Is that the last one then? Yeah. We gotta go buy more sauces. Grocery shopping, buy winter, sauces.
That's okay. Although I'm pleased to report that my welds were getting stronger and looking better, obstacles like running out of metal and welding coil, as well as measuring errors, continue to plague my welding project.
I then joined Don to check his new frames fit correctly.
Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I had Mela come in to check them out, but they didn't fit. Mela started to get frustrated, and I was already frustrated. And we had a little bit of a talk about taking on this welding and how it slowed us down because it's probably taken me 2 weeks, and I'm in the middle of my busiest ramp up of the year for my business. Long story short, it was Friday night. I told Mela I could either wait till Monday, call around, get quotes to see if someone else would build them for us for those last 3, or go to the store right now, get metal, and try to finish them today so we could move on. We do have conflict and discussion about bus build stuff. It's not all us just joking around. Mela's probably doing the assembly edit right now, so she's going to be seeing this. I think our relationship is continuing to evolve. The bus bill has tested us time and time again, but I'm hoping, in my opinion, we'll see what she says, we're getting through it and working through each part and process, and we're getting to know each other and ourselves even more. I'm a let's do it all DIY kind of guy. Some things I learned through this bus build will probably stick with me, but already in my head I'm thinking about I might want to weld the rooftop deck up there because it seems simple. So for the sake of my relationship with my wife, I hope you guys remind me, don't try to do the rooftop deck welding yourself. Just hire somebody else to do it. Oh, and that's all to say, I was successful. This smaller metal tubing that I got, maybe it's just easier to weld. Maybe at this point I've messed up so many things that now I can get it right. Either way, this last frame came together really simply. I used all this new tubing. It looks really nice.
Nobody got injured welding today, but Don did stand in some dog poop. Today we're gonna get the rest of the frames in and finally be done with these frames.
We were able to get the last 3 frames in for our bedroom window number 1, our bedroom window number 2, and
living room
window.
Front window.
Wrong window.
I was like, well, this doesn't work. Can't wait to be done dealing with Sikaflex. We cut down our Ceratex and put that in the wall spaces with Sikaflex, and we keep getting it confused today. We keep calling Sikaflex Ceratex and Ceratex Sikaflex, and it's been very confusing.
Now the only place we have stainless steel showing is where we're going to cut and put our 2-pane insulated RV windows. And even though we got the door open and it's really chilly out, it doesn't feel cold inside.
Standing outside for 5 minutes, my hands are like freezing, numb. know about you, but I'm so glad those frames are complete. One thing I can say about Don is he sticks to something until he figures it out. And he did, and they feel good, they feel solid, and I'm so glad we got them in.
But now that that's said, I'm a little nervous about cutting more holes in the side of the bus to put the windows in.
Today's a big day.
We're gonna learn how to put windows in. What could go wrong? Here we go. We start off with a 6-inch hole saw, and we use that hole saw to cut the rounded corners out. Looks like you got it. Well, sawzall time.
This feels so much more nerve-wracking than cutting the holes in our ceiling. I don't know why. It's making me really nervous.
Feel the vibration?
Oh, yeah.
You just lay this up against there and cut. You got all this flopping around.
Yeah.
You can always come back maybe with that and just do a quick, easy cut, you know? Because you won't have all that metal flopping around.
To cut the straight lines, we used a sawzall with metal cutting blades. To get that to cut was a little bit more of a struggle. Mostly user error. We picked a terrible week to do our juice cleanse.
Sure did.
I am exhausted from holding up the saws and the drills today. Might be faster to do it with the angle grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, angle grinder blade just broke, so it's not working. So I think we got to go back to the sawzall because that's all we have.
Just that saw is so hard to manage.
Yeah, it looks really hard. It wobbles around so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to clamp the metal in some places and see if that helps.
It looks challenging from the outside.
It is once it starts wobbling on you.
They've smoothed around the edges with the angle grinder, shaved it down. Well, it was a little harder than we thought, but the hole is looking pretty good. And now the real test, we're gonna put the window in, and let's hope and pray it still fits.
Something like that. Yep. We'll catch it on.
Looks like down here. Yeah, let me clean this up a little.
Need a little more grinding down in a few spots, but too small is better than too big because we can always make it a little bit bigger.
I think I'll be okay, Mel. I like to rock and roll. Yeah, let me grind off a little bit more and we'll see if we'll be able to get it a little more flush. Yeah, it feels a lot better, Don. We could see a little light here.
It looks like it's all just too big, but it has to be big because this initial thing that you have to get through is bigger than it is right here. And the lip is curved.
This lip's gonna cover for us.
So, I'm hoping that those screws just suck it in enough that that light
I
disappears.
think between that and the ceiling black stuff, I think you're gonna be okay.
I was really nervous watching from the outside, cutting these holes in the metal. I was so nervous for you guys. But as soon as it fit and we put the window in, I started to breathe a sigh of relief and joy and happiness because I think it's gonna be awesome. Okay, it was nerve-wracking cutting that metal, but now that it is out and there's a hole and there's a window in there, I'm really excited now because I can start to kind of see how it's going to turn into our home, and I can imagine myself working at our standing desk and having a beautiful view, and that's pretty exciting.
We're going to mark places for our pilot holes. We're going to put the screws that'll hold everything in. I'm using about 6 inches from the corner, and then I'm going to do 6 inches again in the centers. And my goal really is to hopefully just pull it all up against the metal. And after we've got the Sikaflex in there, should have a nice seal after it dries.
You're going to put Sikaflex on inside there and then pass it through again and put it in?
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and put a nice glob of Sikaflex around there. And I'm not going to be shy with it. For the sealant, continued to use Sikaflex 252. It's about 3 days to cure, and we've had no leaks since we've mastered sealing up the bus with Sikaflex.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good.
Instead of using rivets this time, we used 1-inch metal-to-metal screws, and the reason being is because we wanted to make sure we could go through the bus frame, the 12-gauge steel that we put on the side of the bus, and then into our new frames. Pretty good in here.
Yeah?
Can you see any holes? Any?
I don't see any light at all.
Light? That's good.
Yeah, you can see the Sikaflex on the outside. There's a good bead coming out on the exterior of the frame. And then on the inside too, as it's sucking it in, you can see in the corners that there is plenty Sikaflex. So I feel pretty confident that we sealed it up really good.
All right.
Very
One
nice.
window in.
Very nice.
How nice is it to have a breeze?
Yes. Breeze and a view. Can you picture yourself standing there at our countertop with your laptop looking out that window? Pretty nice, isn't it?
I would have liked it to have been just a little higher, but
Yeah, but you can't. You have to have a roof raise for that.
it's going to be perfect height for sitting.
Exactly.
I'm thinking we're going to have a tall couch too.
No, I want my feet to touch the ground. I don't want my feet dangling like a little child. Well, it was a little bit of a rough start. We are pretty sure we've got a really good seal. So we're gonna go ahead and do the next window, the one right next to it. Hopefully the cutting of the metal goes a little easier this time. So it turns out that that hole saw is already kind of blunt and not cutting the hole for the second window. So we were using a 6-inch circle. We have a 4-inch one, which is a little bit too small, but it'll help us get the curve for the corner anyway. And we're gonna have to go and stock up on those 6-inch saw holes. I don't know why that's a strange name to me.
Luckily, I had bought a whole plethora of hole saws, trying to figure out which size we needed. I figured I could always return the ones we don't use. We ended up using a 4-inch, and we're able to get away with it. You just got to really get the curved corner right. Probably going to go back and get one 6-inch hole saw for each window we do, or maybe invest in a better brand.
Yeah, I think that cut came out a little better, Don.
Oh, it's nice with this breeze.
Oh, it does feel good. Just think when that fan's sucking at you, you'll just get a nice flow of air through here. God.
All right, let's move along before
Yeah.
we run out of energy.
Looks like you're gonna hit some rivets here. Is that a rivet right there? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna just grind the heads off those rivets.
I think Don got a better feel for how to handle the saw as he was cutting, and I think his dad could help inside steady him because you can see it really vibrates a lot. Looks like we're gonna get the second window in just before sunset. And then we'll have to head off to the hardware store tonight, get some more of those hole saws. I'll get the name right one day. I know so many people are gonna be like, oh, that's such a mess. It still looks like a Frankenstein bus, but don't worry. Once we've got our windows in and we get to the point where we're ready to paint it, that whole strip where the sheet metal is, we're gonna paint black. So the windows and all of those holes and rivets and screws and everything should just fade away into the blackness. That's our thoughts anyway.
Shall we commence?
Alright.
Boy, it looks like it smushed it out real good, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, I can believe it, but I'm super happy about it. It's so exciting. I can start to see it kind of coming together. Even though it looks messy still, I can see the vision now.
It looks so small compared to the bus.
I know, right? Well, also compared to the original windows, they look pretty small.
Yeah.
Breeze! Oh, this is so good.
It was a long journey to get here, and I think it was what, a 4-month sidetrack from our original plan, counting some health issues, which you probably saw about.
But I think it's going to be so worth it in the end that we're doing this. I think we can already feel the difference, the temperature inside of the bus.
It was a nice warm day. It's the last warm week of fall, and it got comfortable in the bus. But as soon as you open up those windows, it feels great. You get a breeze instantly.
Definitely going to be able to control the temperature better with this new setup that we have rather than just leaving the old bus windows. And while we were sad to say goodbye to those huge bus windows, as we start to put them in and see outside and see all the benefits that these windows are offering us, I'm feeling really good about this.
All of these RV windows we got up in Elkhart, Indiana area, and they're double pane, they're reclaimed. We paid almost nothing, what, 36 bucks for each of them? I always say when we start a new phase of a project that we're gonna learn how to do something today. This was probably the most successful learn how to do something day we've had. Fingers crossed the next 5 windows go in as smooth as these.
So we share our mistakes, we share it all. I mean, we could also edit these out and just show you the end product and look what we did. But if you were planning to do your own conversion, just know that you will make all of your own mistakes.
Managed to get 2 more windows in today.
Because they're figuring it out. Then we had our oops yesterday. I'm pretty upset about it. But we'll share that with you next time.
It's kind of that the floor probably won't get wet, but there's the. Let's just do it. He seems to have stopped moving. Oh, there he goes. Green, it's going green, blue. Couldn't find the markers. I had bought a new pack. We had a designated place to put it, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And then I reached in my back pocket and found these.
Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.